The janitor they laughed at was a 5-time world champion. The fluorescent lights of the martial arts gym buzzed overhead as Derek Mitchell, a black belt with more ego than humility, stood at the center of the mat. "Hey, janitor," he shouted. "How about a quick demonstration? Ever seen a real fight in your life?" James Washington looked up from where he was mopping the floor. At 42, he'd only been working at the gym for 3 weeks. He'd purposely kept to himself, quietly cleaning after hours when classes ended. But this night, the advanced students had stayed late. "I don't want to interrupt, Sensei," James said, returning to mop a stubborn spot. Derek laughed, loud and mocking. "Everyone, look at this. He's scared to even step on the mat." Most of the students chuckled, some uncomfortably. No one knew the truth about James Washington, that he had once been James. Silent Storm Washington, a 5-time world mixed martial arts champion. No one knew that he'd left fame and fighting behind after an in-ring accident claimed the life of his best friend and training partner. Derek got closer, cocky and dismissive. "Come on, just a little fun. Show my students the difference between a fighter and someone who mops." Something stirred in James, a familiar feeling, not rage, but the quiet poise that once made him unstoppable in the ring. "All right," James said, rising slowly. "But when we're done, you'll apologize to these students for turning a learning place into a circus." More laughter, but this time it was nervous. Derek had no idea the man he just mocked had once fought under lights brighter than anything in this gym, and had mastered an art Derek only played with. The students gathered in a circle. Sarah Chun, a purple belt and sports psychology student, looked increasingly tense. Something about James, the way he moved, the way his breathing shifted, reminded her of the apex fighter she had studied. Calm, coiled power. Derek couldn't help himself. "Everyone take notes. This is why some people belong in the ring, and others with a mop." A few students squirmed as James stepped onto the mat. With each step, the atmosphere changed. The gym grew silent. The arrogance in Derek's tone didn't land. The laughing had stopped. Then Sarah stood up. "Sensei Derek," she said cautiously, "why are you humiliating someone just for doing their job?" Derek snapped, "Sit down. You watch. This'll be more valuable than any class." James gave Sarah a slight nod of appreciation. She reminded him of his late sister, courageous, moral. He remembered why he retired, why he stayed silent. He remembered the tragedy, the regret. But tonight deserved no silence. Derek mocked. "So, janitor, want to show them how not to do a guard?" Still calm, James looked up. "You've mistaken silence for weakness," he said softly. "That's your first mistake." Derek attacked. A textbook jab, fast, clean, but James wasn't there. With impossibly fluid movement, James sidestepped, letting Derek's arms slide into emptiness. "Clean technique," James murmured, "but too predictable." Shocked, Derek launched a deadly combo, jab, cross, hook. Again, James flowed around it, dodging, predicting, never wasting a step. Gasps filled the gym. Some students backed away instinctively. They were watching something they didn't quite understand, a master in motion. "What's the matter? Fight me!" Derek barked, his face red. James let him come. Another barrage of fast combinations, but now James was inside his space. He stepped forward. "Want to know the difference between those who fight in gyms and those who've bled in rings?" James asked, pressing a hand flat against Derek's chest. With no effort, Derek flew backward, as if struck by a force he couldn't comprehend. He hit the ground, hard, silence. James didn't gloat. He walked over, extended a hand. Derek didn't take it. Sarah was already searching James's name on her phone. Her jaw dropped. "James Washington," she whispered. "Silent Storm Washington, 5-time world MMA champion." Students gasped. Phones came out. Derek sat up pale. I didn't know," James replied, calm as ever. "That's the problem. If you had known, you'd have respected me, but still disrespected others. That's not martial arts. That's ego." Sarah stepped forward again. "Mr. Washington, would you consider teaching here?" James smiled. "The kind you earn through pain and time. Maybe, but not to train fists, only hearts." Derek's fall had been swift, and his apology was sincere, but the gym's hierarchy was forever changed. James Washington, once a ghost of legends past, reminded everyone that Strength isn't in titles or belts. It's in how you carry yourself. From that day forward, students didn't just learn to fight. They learned why they fight. James never raised a fist, just a standard. And that was enough.